Hey, what's up, y'all? How you doing? Hopefully you can hear me. Um, yeah, well, right now as you guys may know, or I'm sure you know, Jacob Blake was the gentleman that was murdered, not murdered, but brutally attacked by the Kenosha, Wisconsin Police Department. After he broke up a fight, he was headed to his car. The police followed him to his car. Subsequently, one of the police officers grabbed his back of his T-shirt, and then they shot him 7 times. Um, right now, they're actually having the civil rights lawyers are holding a press conference, and so I wanted to go ahead and play the press conference right now. So hang on a second. Let me pull it up. I'll be shortly. I'll be adding commentary or whatever as I see kind of fit, or feel free to make comments in the comments about this shit, man. It's just crazy, man. All right, man. Then afterwards, I might show some highlights, man, from the RNC. So, but yeah, let's here we go. Where's the dude's mask at, man? Rumble look cool, man, but he has no his mask not covering his nose, man. That's no good. Don't do a lick of good. Justice for Breonna Taylor, y'all. Justice for Breonna Taylor.
Good afternoon. I'm attorney Ben Crump, along with attorney Patrick Savi and attorney Patrick Savi Jr., attorney B. Ivory Lamar, attorney Tara Devine, and attorney Patrick Cafferty. We have the honor of representing James Blake and his family. I'm sorry. I'm about to introduce Pastor James Blake. Jacob Blake and his family. Uh, Present with us is his family. His father, Jacob Blake Sr., his mother, Julia Jackson, his brothers and sisters, sons, cousins, a large black family unit who are all standing united in prayer for Jacob Blake to recover from this brutal use of excessive force once again on an African American that was captured on video, and that is just shocking and outrageous and devastating.
What up, Hammer?
Devastating to all of us, but
How you doing, bro?
mostly devastating to his 3 little boys who were seated in the car when the police
What? His sons was in the car?
shot him
in the back.
At least 7 times at point blank range.
And his sons was in the car?
Before we begin, because this is a very faithful family, we're going to begin with prayer, and then the attorneys will give you the updates on his medical condition and the action that we are demanding legally And then you will hear from his parents, his sisters, both Latitra, Megan, and Zaita. And then we will take some of your questions. But first, we will start with Pastor James Boyd Jr. to lead us in prayer.
Thank you, Attorney Crump. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is James E. Ward Jr., and along with my wife, Pastor Sharon, we've been highly privileged to be the family pastor for more than 30 years to Miss Julia Jackson, the mother of Jacob Blake, and also her mother, Janie Johnson, for more than 30 years. And at Julia's request and at Attorney Crump's request, I want to just
Please
set
hit
the
like,
tone
y'all, and
for
share.
our
Please hit like and
press
share.
conference today by briefly representing Julia's faith in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ and offer a brief word of prayer. There are three types of law that govern a nation: spiritual law, moral law, and civil law. But we're only familiar with civil law, and we're often ignorant of the ramifications of violating spiritual and moral law, which civil law alone cannot remedy. When these spiritual and moral foundations are destroyed, societies implode. People hurt each other, and what can the righteous do? So we're calling our nation back to faith in God. Despite our differences, every citizen of America can agree that we indeed have a monumental problem in our nation, a problem that people created, but people are incapable of solving. And often, as we tell our church, we have a sin problem and not just a skin problem. So I invite you to join me in a brief moment of prayer as we ask our gracious God for his help during these very perilous times. Let's
They shot
pray.
the man in the back.
Our Father in heaven, we humbly come to you in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. And we ask you to forgive us all for straying from our ways and from your ways and from our word, which invites the curse and results in repeated harming and the destruction of each other. I declare the mercy of God, the grace of God, the peace of God, the goodness of God, and most importantly, the love of God over Kenosha, over Black people and white people, over citizens and police, and over these United States of America. Father, unify us by your Holy Spirit. We pray for Jacob Blake even now and ask you to heal his spirit, soul, mind, and body, as well as the entire family. We ask you to give us wisdom on how to navigate our way forward as we deliberate to seek justice and to seek to bring healing to a hurting nation. In the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen. And now you will hear from his father, Jacob Blake Sr., who will pray also.
Our family is very diverse, and we don't represent just one thing. So if you all could give me 1 second, please. This is for my son, Jacob Blake. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladina an'amta alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out in support of my son with this senseless attempted murder that was committed on him. They shot my son 7 times. 7 times. Like he didn't matter. But my son matters. He's a human being and he matters.
No, he's in the hospital though, brother.
Take it back. Okay. We're going to now hear from his mother, Miss Julia Jackson. This is her only biological son, Jacob Blake Jr.
He had sons in the car, though, man. That's what's crazy. He had 3 sons in his car.
My son has been fighting for his life.
Talk a little louder.
And we really just need prayers. As I was riding through here, through the city, I noticed a lot of damage. It doesn't reflect my son or my family. If Jacob knew what was going on as far as that goes, the violence and the destruction, he would
I would want
be
y'all to burn this
very
motherfucker down.
unpleased.
If it was me, I would want y'all to burn this
So
motherfucker down.
I'm really asking and encouraging everyone in Wisconsin and abroad to take a moment and examine your hearts. Citizens, police officers, firemen, clergy, politicians, do Jacob justice on this level and examine your hearts.
Mm. Yes.
Nah, Triple, we need to take the weapons from them, man.
We need
They don't need
healing.
guns. They don't need guns.
As I pray for my son's healing
Make them Andy
physically,
Griffith mode, man.
emotionally, and spiritually, I also have been praying even before this for the healing of our country.
Yes. Yes.
God has placed each and every one of us in this country because he wanted us to be here. Clearly, you can see by now that I have beautiful brown skin, but take a look at your hand, and whatever shade it is beautiful as well.
Amen. Yes.
How dare we hate what we are?
Yeah.
We are humans. God did not make one type of tree or flower or fish or horse or grass or rock. How dare you ask him to make one type of human that looks just like you?
Wow.
I'm not talking to just Caucasian people. I am talking to everyone. White, black, Japanese, Chinese, red, brown. No one is superior to the other.
Right.
The only supreme being is God himself. Please, let's begin to pray for healing for our nation. We are the United States. Have we been united? Do you understand what's going to happen when we fall? Because a house that is against each other cannot stand.
Amen.
To all of the police officers, I'm praying for you and your families. To all of the citizens, my black and brown sisters and brothers, I'm praying for you. I believe that you are an intelligent being just like the rest of us. Everybody. Let's use our hearts, our love, and our intelligence to work together to show the rest of the world how humans are supposed to treat each other. America is great when we behave greatly. Thank you.
Hold on. Yeah, Julia Jackson, Julia Jackson, Jackson. And before we have our sisters address you, we want to give a brief update on his medical status and also our demands. So at this time, I will have Attorney Patrick Salvi Jr. and Attorney B. Ivory Lamar join me as we update you. And as they come, I will tell you what his mother and father just did certainly touched my heart, praying for humanity. The question is it touching the hearts of the people with the authority that we have legally given the right to use force in America? That is the people who are supposed to protect and serve us. Well, when you look at that video, that horrific video that showed Jacob Blake Jr. being shot at least 7 times at point blank range, where the officer is holding his t-shirt, and you see it on the video. Remember what his mother just said. Where is the humanity? Where was the humanity for this citizen? And as she said, it shouldn't matter the color of his skin. Where is the humanity? In the law, we often talk about deliberate indifference. Well, I think we don't have to give you a lot of legal treatises to let you know
What's going on, Miss Sunday?
that what they did to Jacob Sr. and Julia's son was done with deliberate indifference. As she said, think for a second what other things these police officers could have done.
Now, real quick, I've learned some information, man. I'm going to share with you guys right after this, so please stay tuned.
Instead of firing at least 7 bullets into the back of Jacob Blake Jr., leaving him at this moment paralyzed. And his family is very faithful and they believe in miracles. But the medical diagnosis right now is that he is paralyzed. And because those bullets severed his spinal cord and shattered some of his vertebrae that Attorney Salvi will get to in more detail, it is going to take a miracle. It is going to take a miracle for Jacob Blake Jr. to ever walk again. He is currently in surgery as we speak, still struggling to sustain his life and to hopefully become some resemblance of the man he once was. So at this time, I'm going to call Attorney Patrick Salvi first, and then you'll hear from Attorney B. Ivory Lamar to give updates.
Thank you, Ben. My name's Patrick Salvi Jr. I'm a lawyer at the office of Salvi, Shostak, and Pritchard in Chicago. As you've heard and as you can imagine, when at least 7, as many as 8 bullets from point blank range enter the human body and shred through the tissue of the human body, that can cause, and did in this case, severe and likely permanent injury. Miraculously, because I imagine you've all seen the video. Jacob is alive. And I cannot tell you how pleased we were, how full our hearts were when Julia came back from visiting with him and actually told us that he told her a joke. And so that was tremendous news. But let me go through some of the injuries that Jacob suffered. Mr. Crump is correct. He had a bullet go through some or all of his spinal cord, at least one bullet. He has holes in his stomach. He had to have nearly his entire colon and small intestines removed. He suffered damage to his kidney and liver and was also shot in the arm. And so Jacob has a long road ahead of him. A lot of rehabilitation. You heard he's in surgery right now, and it is not going to be his last surgery. So he has a long road to recovery. We are going to hope and pray for as good of a recovery as we can possibly get. Jacob is going to fight hard, no doubt about it, with the support of his wonderful family that you see behind me. But that type of rehabilitation and recovery, it's not free. And so part of what we need to do on Jacob's behalf in light of the travesty that happened on Sunday is we have to bring a civil lawsuit. And we're going to be doing that, among other things, to accomplish several goals. One is, of course, to hold the wrongdoers accountable for this injustice. The second is to get Jacob the resources that he will need. He's a young man. He's got decades of life ahead of him. And what he needs now and what the civil justice system provides for under these circumstances is the best possible medical care to absolutely maximize his recovery. And so we're going to fight for him for that. And then, of course, finally, the fact that due process under the law, something that Jacob was not afforded in that situation, clearly, and that dignity and humanity and compassion, which is how policing ought to be practiced in this country, that it be applied to Jacob no different than it is applied to me. Because we can all wonder that if all else being equal, would I have been treated that way? So those are the things we're going to fight for. Now I'll pass it back to Mr. Crump and Mr. Lamar. Excuse me.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you so much, Patrick. Now you will hear from Milwaukee native Biabri Lamar, wonderful attorney who's come from this city.
Thank you, Attorney Crump. I'm Attorney Biabri Lamar, representing the Blake family, along with the legal team that you see before us today. I want to first start by thanking all the supporters locally, as well as nationally, for all the prayer support that you have shown this family. They're very grateful for the many acknowledgments that you have provided. The question that we have, that we charge America with today is, how many more examples of police brutality do we need to effectuate change? How many more? How many more marches do we have to partake in to get change? We have a very clear example. If George Floyd wasn't clear enough, today we stand before you with another one. Another example. Today is about accountability, and it starts locally, and we've talked before about how local issues become national issues. Today, we want to see how the Kenosha Police Department is going to respond to another event of police brutality. How long is it going to take to terminate the officers that were involved in this tragedy? How long? We're within the first 48 hours right now. Let's see if our marching, let's see if our advocacy is making a change. because we don't need any more examples. Heaven is full to its capacity with victims who have been taken at the hands of law enforcement. It's at capacity. And that's probably one of the reasons why Jacob lives today. So we ask now for change. We ask for everyone's continued support. We're demanding the police department to take swift action. We ask for transparency. We ask for our local and governmental officials to act swiftly to enforce legislation. It's not so much about creating new legislation. It's about enforcing what's on the books now. And that's what we call for. That's what this family wants. And we will not stop until we get it. Black Lives Matter, and it's very expensive. It's very expensive. And you will see the expense that the taxpayers have the burden on when you do not hold law enforcement accountable for their actions. America, this is the time for change. We have a group of local activists in Milwaukee who have marched from Milwaukee that are headed their way to DC as we speak. This is not a local issue. This is a national issue. I will join Attorney Ben Crump this week in DC as we march on Washington to protest these very same issues. America, we're watching. The world is watching. Let's make a change. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Attorney Lamar. And thank you, Attorney Salvi, for giving details about his medical status. You know, the one thing that the doctor said to Julia and the family was there were these surgeries. And even though he is stable, they are very concerned about bacteria and meningitis when you have to have multiple surgeries. Julia and I and the family, we were hopeful that he wouldn't have to have the surgery. Went to see him today and was surprised to learn that they had to rush him into surgery. So please continue to pray for him. Remember, as Attorney Lamar said, the March on Washington, the commitment march that took place, that is being convened in the aftermath of the killing of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmaud Arbery. And I know Reverend Al Sharpton and Martin Luther King III was questioned over and over again about having this march at this time during the COVID pandemic. And they said to me, Attorney Crump, we can't lose this moment. We can't lose this moment to confront this other pandemic of racism and discrimination, especially in policing in America. And so it's so profound that the week leading up to the March on Washington, the commitment march talking about policing in America, that we offer two more exhibits within 48 hours of each other in vivid detail on video. When you look at the video in Lafayette, Louisiana, with
I showed it the other day.
Parolin, and how 10 officers followed him and shot him 11 times and killed him. That was exhibit 1. Right here, Attorney Salvi, in Kenosha, Wisconsin, we give you exhibit 2. Blake Sr. and Julia's son shot at least 7 times because of brutal excessive force, a lack of humanity, just like the lack of humanity we saw with George Floyd. Brutal, excessive force. 7 times
What's up, y'all?
in the back, point blank range. I think Reverend Al and
I want
Martin
y'all to
Luther King
please stay on
III,
after this, man, because there's some information I'd like to
Without-
share. So,
ever designed to do so, have exhibits while we have to have this march to change the culture and the behavior of policing in America before we have another unarmed black person killed unjustifiably, and we have yet another hashtag that we're meeting while another city is burning and under protest. How many more? That's why we're marching on Washington. I know members of the Blake family have been invited to join George Floyd family, Breonna Taylor family, and other families, Pastor, so we can make the case that we love our children too, that we don't want to continue to have to bury our children. Julia doesn't want to have to sit with her child for the next weeks, months, years while they go through rehab. These little boys, these 3 little boys are going to have psychological problems for the rest of their life. Can you imagine what his 8-year-old son, who was celebrating his birthday, is going to think about every time he has his birthday? The pain in his father. Can you imagine? This is real. This is real, America. This is real. This is what we have to endure every day, being profiled by the people who are supposed to protect and serve us. At this time, we're going to hear from his sister, Latitra Weidman.
I am my brother's keeper. And when you say the name Jacob Blake, make sure you
and
say
that
father.
actually, Miss Berry,
Make sure you say cousin.
Miss Berry, I'm actually going to be addressing that too. So just hang tight. I'm going to be addressing that at the end of this press conference. So that's the new information that I'd like to share with everybody.
Make sure you say son. Make sure you say uncle. But most importantly, make sure you say human. Human life. Let it marinate in your mouth, in your minds. A human life. Just like every single one of y'all and everywhere around. So we're
Hey,
human.
Brown,
And his life matters. So many people have reached out to me telling me they're sorry that this happened to my family. Well, don't be sorry, because this has been happening to my family for a long time, longer than I can account for. It happened to Emmett Till. Emmett Till is my family. Philando, Mike Brown, Sandra. This has been happening to my family. And I've shared tears for every single one of these people that it's happened to. This is nothing new. I'm not sad. I'm not sorry. I'm angry. And I'm tired. I haven't cried one time. I stopped crying years ago. I am numb. I have been watching police murder people that look like me for years. I'm also a Black History minor. So not only have I been watching it in the 30 years I've been on this planet, but I've been watching it for years before we were even alive. I'm not sad. I don't want your pity. I want change.
Thank you. You sense the pain and the reality that this is real, America. I know a lot of you are watching it on television and abstract, but for Black America, this is our reality. And that's why we're having this commitment march. I was telling Senator Kamala Harris and the Congressional Black Caucus members, we have to pass this George Floyd Justice in Police and Accountability Act. We have to. We can't let another day go by, because every day is the potential of another hashtag. And I challenge anybody to tell me that I'm not speaking facts, that it might be another city and another state, but it seems like the scripted narrative is the same. Unarmed Black person killed unjustifiably. The police shoot first and figure out how to justify it later. And oh, by the way, we got the legal system in our back pocket. They'll figure out how to justify it. This is real. At this time, we will hear from his sister, Megan Belcher.
I'm the baby. I'm his Meagle Beagle. He was my light. I'm not crying because I'm sad. I'm crying because I know how upset he is, that his family's upset right now.
So y'all,
Not that he's the,
I'm gonna stop it real
not where
quick
he is,
because there's an
but
article.
because
Let's
his
go to the
family
article
is hurting.
that I
He
wanna
loves.
go to real quick. So, and we'll come back if y'all like. But I really want to address some of this in this article. So I'm gonna stop sharing this screen. I'm gonna share a different screen. Um, First, you guys, what do you see as a violent crime? What's a violent crime? And how should a violent crime be treated? If someone is acting in a violent manner, what are some crimes that you guys would see as violent? Just throw them out there in the chat, man. I'm going to go with one: robbery. That would be considered a violent crime. Endangerment, kidnapping, right? That's considered a violent crime. Murder, assault. What else? Anybody got anything else? Anything else that you would consider a violent crime? Domestic violence. That's right. That's a violent crime. It literally has violence in the name. What about rape? Rape is a violent crime. Sexual assault is a violent crime. Kidnapping. Those are all violent crimes, right? So if we knew that if you had someone who was, let's say, was wanted for a violent crime, how do you think that person should be taken into custody? Now, I'm not justifying anything that the police have done. I'm asking some questions. I'm going to just present some evidence. And I'm just asking, how do you think that the police should handle this? Florida don't have sharpest, they don't have a reputation for being sharp for anything, Jerry. So let's go to an article. Actually, this is an article in the Chicago Tribune by Genevieve Bookwalter. Genevieve Bookwalter. So due process is, yeah, but to take him into custody for violent crime. Think before they react. Okay. So let's here we go right here, man. So this is an article. It came out yesterday afternoon, by Genevieve Bookwalter, and it's the in Chicago Tribune. Talks about his family. Jacob Blake, who was shot by a police officer in Kenosha on Sunday, grew up in Evanston, Illinois, as part of a family with deep ties to local community activism. It's a video of the shooting appears to show an officer firing several shots into Blake. As Blake, 29, is turned away, the shooting has touched off protests and unrest in the town not far from the Wisconsin-Illinois border. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit. His family's been active in and around Evanston for generations, says his uncle Justin Blake, while en route to the hospital where Jacob Blake is being treated. And I'm going to scroll down. Actually, check this out, man. Jacob Blake played football, net, and basketball in Evanston Township High School, his uncle said. He loved sports, music, and architecture. But Jacob Blake didn't forget his roots and returned with his uncle at Black Urban Recycling in Chicago, an organization that collects aluminum cans from senior centers, veterans groups, and elsewhere to recycle them and raise money for a community center in the Englewood neighborhood, Justin Blake said. Veterans love when he comes around because he's always polite and perky. Okay. Blake's grandfather died in 1976. I guess it's like his grandfather was Reverend Jacob Blake. Check this out right here. After his death, the nearby Jacob Blake Manor, which also provided affordable housing to seniors, was named after his grandfather. But check this out. Court records show that Blake has a pending criminal case that started last month. Online court records indicate that Kenosha County prosecutors charged Blake on July 6 with third-degree sexual assault, trespassing, and disorderly conduct in connection with the domestic abuse. An arrest warrant was issued for Blake the following day. So, from July 7th, he had an arrest warrant for a violent crime. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that? I'm just kind of throwing it out there. Did y'all know that? Yeah, regardless. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, regardless, man. Yeah. Regardless. Uh-huh. So so the police tasing. What do you think? What else should the police do if they tase? What do you think should be the next action? If someone is actually on an outstanding warrant for a violent crime, not for just one, but several violent crimes. Now, I'm not saying what they, shooting him was what they should have done, but what I'm just looking at, I'm presenting some other viewpoints of this situation. Now, I make no apologies that I am not a pro-police person in the slightest. I actually don't think the police need to have guns at all. I'm on record several times talking about how I think the police don't need guns, how I think we need to disarm them, how I think that they're a militarized organization, that they don't need to be police officers longer than 3 to 5 years. 5 years tops is what they need. If they want to do some community policing action, I'm fine with buying police houses in the neighborhoods they're supposed to police in, so they can live there and let the police live there for free. It's difficult to pull a gun and shoot your neighbor in the back 7 times. But do you think that this would frame exactly? COs don't have guns. Do you think that knowing that what type of warrant that he had, he was an outstanding warrant, man, for sexual assault, trespassing, disorderly conduct in connection with domestic abuse, sexual assault. Sexual assault has a lot. I mean, it's a wide degree. Right. He's innocent until proven guilty. I understand that, Marcus. But let me hold on and put this up here so you guys can see. Dylan Roof, just an example, and he's charged, not convicted. So he's innocent until proven guilty. Yes. He's on an outstanding warrant. So an outstanding warrant means for a violent crime, it puts the police on. It puts the police on. It kind of keys them up. I'm not saying it's right. No, hell no, it's not right for him to shoot him in the back 7 times. I know it's not right to shoot him 7 times at all. And they said this call, so let's go back. They said the records contain no further details and do not list the attorney for Blake. So let's scroll back up here a little bit and see what we can find. So he's in and out of consciousness and appears to be paralyzed from the waist down. However, the paralysis could be temporary as he continues to recover. Seven shots can be heard. Let me scroll down. I saw there was something that actually kind of went into what happened, what caused it. Okay. This talks about the more activism of the family. Let's look and see some stuff, some more. We can find some more facts of the case. Right. I agree. Okay. It's Wall Street Journal. I think that's where I saw that, man. Here we go. What led up to the shooting of Jacob Blake? On Sunday evening, Kenosha police were called to Jacob Blake's home after a caller said that he had taken some keys and was refusing to give them back, according to 911 radio traffic captured by Broadcastify. Ben Crump, the attorney representing Mr. Blake's family, said Mr. Blake was helping to de-escalate the situation when officers initially used a stun gun on him, and that Mr. Blake was walking away from police to check on his kids, who were in the car when he was shot. Police start commenting on it since. Let's look and see what this video has. Whoever this is, man, go ahead and block that person. Were they serving the warrant? I don't think so, no.
Manage data from 5 continents, thousands of customer service requests, and a CEO who wants insights into tomorrow. With SAP S/4HANA, get the agility you need by turning your ERP data into predictive insights.
As it started to get darker, the crowd there got more agitated, and there were a number of volleys of water bottles thrown from the crowd toward police. They were using a bullhorn to try and tell people after curfew fell that they needed to get
There's a
off
black
the
guy right
streets,
there.
and that if they didn't at least get back from police, they would disperse gas.
You see a lot of black people in the crowd? Okay. Oh, he is. What's up, Spring 07 Gamma Gamma? Make yourself known, man.
God, show him. Go.
The neighbors in Jacob Blank's neighborhood said that they understood the protests, they understood the riots, that they understood that anger, and that these actions were essentially a way to express anger, to have their voices heard. One gentleman even told me that if we have to burn it down, we burn it down.
Jacob Blake was shot in the back multiple times in broad daylight in front of his family, friends, and neighbors in Kenosha, Wisconsin. While we do not have yet all the details and a thorough independent investigation is ongoing, what we do know for certain is that this cannot continue.
Okay.
So you got 20 steel supply.
Right on. So say let's go back, man. See, who was Jacob Blake? But brother, do you care about his warrant? Okay, let's learn a little bit more about him. Now, that's something I don't like. That always happens. Anyway, all right, right on, man. So, yeah, something I don't like. I don't like to ask, or don't like to be, to look at, is how when it's one of us is shot, or when it's really one of anybody that's shot by the police, how they become the victim. The victim is actually the one that's attacked. We don't know the police officers' names yet, do we? But we know that we do know they shot him. We know the brother had a warrant. That's it. We don't have the officers' names. Let's say they're investigating the shooting. Let's see. He has 6 kids. Dang. He loves people. He loves music and architecture. I mean, what's architecture, man? How did I know he had a warrant? It actually was in the. Hey, how you doing, Malik Abdullah Douglas? I knew he had a warrant, man, because it was in the. They just mentioned that he had a warrant in the Chicago Evanston. I mean, in the Chicago Tribune, bro. That's how. Exactly. We don't know a lot, man. He was clearly unarmed. He could have physically restrained him. Yep. But did you guys saw the other day when I showed the video of what happened in Louisiana? There were 7 cops that surrounded that guy. Did you guys see that video? Yep. Exactly. Right. After he was shot, the internet, no one knew him from a can of paint. Yeah. Yeah, man. Anybody want to come up and talk about it, man? Gonna drop a link out, man. Paste this link. All you need to do is just click this link, man, and you come up and talk about it, man. Be more than happy to have you come up and give some input. So here we go to Facebook, and I'm putting it on Facebook as well. So my Facebook fam, if y'all want to come in and talk about it, you just need to click this link. Just a second. No, I don't want that, man. All right, man. Bear with me, y'all. Here we go. I'm actually posting right now in the Facebook chat, man. So you can just click on this link right here, and you can come on up and talk about it, man. 007, I'd love to hear from you, man. You know what I'm saying? And Malik, I had talked to you on the phone in a minute, man. I know, you know, we've been kind of going back and forth. Well, I need to be going back and forth more with you because I got some shit I need to talk to you about. But anybody else want to come up and talk about it? Now, y'all want me to go back to the press conference and let's hear some more tears. That link actually comes to talk to me right here in this. What's up, man? What's up, man? That link comes to talk to me. You'll be able to come up here in the chat, up here on the screen with me on the big screen. Just click on the link, man. Let's see. Right on. So you see up here, I'll wait on this just a second. We got Marcus Curtis coming up here. Go give us some more input. You can't? All right, I'm going to text it to you, Mark. All right, man. I'm going to text it, man. Hang on a second. Different book of cues, man. Oh, you might need to call you Malik. There you go, man. Go to the link, bro. What's up, Charles? What's up, bro? Yeah. What's up, dog? Man, so I was actually showing the press conference, man, from Jacob Blake. But now, man, we're gonna be talking about it a little bit, man. I want to get some input, man, for some brothers, man, or guys that have input on it, man. That's a good picture too, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I showed a video the other day with you, man, set out the basics, man. You know what I'm saying? You look good, bro. So hold on a second. Let's see. You guys come up here or not, man. If you're having trouble with it, man, let me know. You sending it out, dog. You know what I'm saying? While we waiting on the brothers to come up here, man. I'm gonna go ahead back to the press conference. Okay, who we got up here, man? Who we got Malik.
What it do, big dog?
What it do, man? What's up, dog? How you doing?
I'm well, and yourself?
Doing fantastic. That's a highly favored, man.
All right.
Good seeing you, man.
Good to see you, brother. How's the family?
I doing great, man. Everybody's wonderful, man. Y'all right here, man. This is one of the best looking men in America, man, next to myself, man.
Well, thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. So I was showing the press conference, man, from this recent police action shooting. You saw what happened in Lafayette, right?
Right.
And then what kind of input did you have on this, man?
Well, first of all, let me give my perspective on it, just for the simple fact that being in that type of situation from a different perspective and different job, but when I first saw the young man go into the vehicle, I was a little shaken because I was like, man, what could he have been reaching for? And so we always have to keep that in mind. Police officers wake up every morning with a heightened sense of awareness from the time they wake up to the time they go to bed. So, but on the flip of it, that's not their excuse. That's really not their excuse. If I can go get a concealed carry license, and they tell me that the person is approximately 15 to 25 feet away from me, and I cannot engage even if they're standing in front of me, then the rules got to be the same for the police.
There's
That
something
young
going on
man
with your
was,
mic, Mark.
I'm not
I mean,
sure.
Malik, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
You good?
Okay. But so I mean, I want to make sure that we're fair when we start judging both sides, even though I think a lot of emotion is built because of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and all of the people that's been dying recently from at the hands of the police. So I want to make sure that we're fair when we look at this. But on the same side of it, our police are being trained. And if they do not have the wherewithal or the testicular fortitude to be able to engage before engaging with lethal force, it's something wrong with them. I mean, that's period point blank. It's something wrong with them, because I believe there was roughly 3 men within attacking distance of that young man that they could have tackled him to the ground long before he opened that car door. And I just think that was what they did was very egregious. I won't sit here and say it was deliberate, because I don't know what was going through their mind. And you keep hearing, well, he was there to diffuse a situation of a domestic situation. I wouldn't care if he was there to cut the grass or to cut somebody's head off. The bottom line of it was he was not a threat at the time in which he was killed. Now, to presume him a threat when he reached into the vehicle, I could understand that. I really could. But I couldn't understand how trained police officers even let this dude get to the car door. That made no sense to me. If it was a sense of apprehending him, then you should have got him somewhere between the sidewalk to the driver's side door.
Hey, Mark, hold on a second. Hey, 07, mute up your mic real quick, man. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so somewhere between the sidewalk to the driver's side door. They should have been able to subdue him either by force, meaning 2 or more took him down high-low or something. But to shoot this man in the back multiple times, and then you keep hearing, well, his children were in the car. That obviously that didn't matter to him when he entered into the domestic situation. So let's kind of take the emotion out of that the fact that his children were there to see that. Let's let that be for the court of public opinion as well as for the judiciary. But my point is that there was too many instances between the sidewalk and the driver's side door that the man didn't have to be shot. Weapons should not have even been drawn. And then my thing is, and then I guess my last point is, how did we go from non-lethal force with a distance in between to lethal force before even engaging non-lethal force? And so I'll bring that point up because I hear so many people, I hear so many talking heads, defund the police, this, that, and the third, right? Well, when we talk about defunding the police, let's talk about defunding the police and they don't need warlike weapons on the street. That's first thing. That's what we need to defund. We don't need M4s and MP5s on the street of Columbia, South Carolina. I don't see where that's warranted. But at the same time, let's make sure that we're at least funding that training to develop temperance enough so that I don't go in and I just bypass all non-lethal force, no pepper spray, not even picked up a rock or pushed the man up against his own vehicle. I just snatch a Glock off my hip and just start ripping off like I didn't have any other choice. And it's like, now I'm just kind of dying to see where this one goes. I really would like to see the justification behind someone not going to jail over this one. But my 7 cents, and that's where I leave.
Well, 07, what you got, man?
Oh, I love the 7 cents. How he summed it up great as far as the incident. I have nothing to add to that. I know I made a comment as far as the warrants or prior things that he had done. Like he said, if they didn't know that prior to even approaching that man, doing that, I don't care about that when it comes down to this instant. Then knowing that, like I said, as evolved as he was in the community, as things that were going around, who's going to step up if he had all of those charges to say he shouldn't be out here, or do something about it. And that's what it comes down to with the past things and the things that is being done. I hold my friends accountable for, and to high standards and to set their goals. So you can't be around me and have multiple domestic warrants, So yeah. So I can't understand that. But as far as this incident, yeah, they're gonna try to throw as much dirt on it, but his character not in question for
Right.
me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'll leave it.
I think the first thing I'd ask when I first saw the video, and I did a video a couple of days ago, kind of a little commentary, and I said that was my question. The same thing as just Terry said. Where were the batons at? Nobody has batons anymore. They couldn't attack with this guy. I mean, it was two of them. And you see the tasers. What is it now with these tasers? The tasers are they not high powered enough? And personally, I think that the police don't need guns. I think the police need to be walking around like Andy Griffith, solving problems that way.
One bullet.
One bullet, man. We got that one bullet, man. So you go choose that one bullet wisely. That might be of course that's an exaggerated example of what it should look like. But I really think that, this whole weaponized, militarized force that we have on our streets that we're not asking for. Or are we asking
bad
for?
part about is we trying to meet force with force. And we're not trying to add a common sense aspect to it. We're trying to meet equal force with equal force. And so I have seen some pretty high powered stuff on the street that just Joe Schmo may own. But at the same time, we're also not using a common sense aspect to it either. So when you start bringing in that dynamic of, well, I'm going to have mine to be bigger than yours, then you start creating that sense of wanting to assert a certain air of dominance. Now, you asked about the tasers. Some of these police forces are trying to save money and they're buying not the best that they can get. But at the same time, when you start looking, there are different forms
So they're
of
going to Big Lots and getting tasers
engagement.
more?
Huh?
They're going to Big Lots and getting tasers?
Well, a lot of them are allowed to go to these secondhand stores and to these Navy surplus.
Set them mute up, man.
And they get they're given an allowance, and so a lot of them don't get there's no standard to what they're securing. And so then on the flip of it, what people got to understand about them tasers, and I think in this young man's situation, because when the taser was deployed, number one, it was too close, so it couldn't pick up maximum velocity in order to pierce the skin. And so when you look at when it was actually deployed, I think that taser caught on to his t-shirt. And if you've ever been, so like in my job, you have to, before you can deploy non-lethal force, you have to engage. That's from tear gas to dadgum tasers. But we stand at maximum point. I mean, we stand at maximum velocity point in order for it to actually penetrate the clothing. And we pull the trigger. And I've seen some people get shocked. Most of the 25,000 volt ones, you hit me with it at 240 pounds, it will affect you. But if I wasn't walking, I'm not gonna fall. But I think from his instance was that theirs didn't take effect because they were standing too close. But I could almost probably guarantee you that they went and got something secondhand, and it was okay for the job, but it didn't execute as they needed it to. My concern is, and like when we start talking about the warrants, whereas now we're going to prove the victim guilty before they even walk into a courtroom. And it's only proving him guilty so that the true guilty party can be proven innocent because, well, I was just doing my job. Well, nah, technically you weren't doing your job because there was, from the sidewalk to the driver's side door, an opportunity to tackle him, subdue him, shackle him, use pepper spray,
Like you said, where are the batons? I know they outlawed the maces, but come on now, there's got to be something besides shout and shoot. There's got to be a step in between.
Agreed, bro. Agreed. 100%, man. 100%. I mean, it's just the lethal force, man. They need to take away their option of lethal force. I showed the other day there was some police recruitment videos that reminded me of looking at an Army recruitment video, or National Guard, or Army Guard, recruitment video. It's really scary to see what's going on, man. To see this, and I don't see. The thing is, I believe if we're going to get the federal government involved, then we need to say, all right, federal government, now they're going to set a standard for all weaponry. So the police can have no more powerful. This is the minimum amount of power a weapon can have. Otherwise, they'll be violating this person's civil rights, or maximum amount of weapon that this person should have. So then there's minimums, there's standards that are set, and they're set across the board, right? We have issues. The issue I have with letting the federal government get involved, though, is we have states' rights. And that states' rights thing is something that we want to hold and protect near and dear, because I don't want the laws. I may not want the laws that apply in Mississippi applying here in Indiana. I don't want things and problems that are happening, issues that they may be dealing with. If they're dealing with an issue of a certain type of, let's say, a certain type of insurance policy, and if they have a certain kind of insurance policy that it works well there, I don't want those same rules to apply here. I want each state to have its own individual say as to how the citizens of that state are treated. As crazy as that sounds. And I see you start looking at your face.
But that goes back to state sovereignty, though. So, I mean, the states have to remain sovereign in their capability to manage the citizens of that state as well as the visitors. So, I mean, because the bottom line of it is, being a resident of Texas, that wild, wild west crap of being able to walk around open carry and you got 6-7 weapons hanging off of you, and as long as I can see them in plain sight, that's legal. That may not float everywhere. That may not be a comfortable law or a tolerant law for Los Angeles. That might not be a tolerant law for inner city New York, but it may work for Texas. But at the same time, when you start talking about state sovereignty, honestly, this is one of those cases where I would really ask the federal government to leave it alone, because when you make it a Fed case, the burden of proof is so much greater than what you can apply either locally or at the state level. Because one of the things that really frustrate me with a lot of these cases is that we want to immediately jump on, oh, it was a hate crime. People don't realize that the statute for a hate crime is so much greater than it is for just murder at the state level, or hey, at the state level, or this municipality or this principality, we're going to impose the highest level of state law, which may be the death penalty. But you bring in the federal government and they say, we're gonna send them to a federal prison, and we don't have a chair there, or we don't have the means to execute there. So that's where state sovereignty comes in, because every case doesn't owe the federal government a pound of flesh. This is one of those situations where that local municipality needs to manage that situation. And then if there's a civil case that is elevated to the federal level only for interpretation of the civil law, then I can see the federal government getting involved. But at this point, it needs to be left alone. Let that city local government handle it. Then move it up to the state Supreme Court. And if you're not satisfied, then keep elevating it as your money and your will allows you to go. And I'll leave it at that. Look, brother, I got to get off of here, man, but it was great talking to you.
What you got, 07? Curtis.
Oh, yeah. Just taking it all in. But even with all legislation and things like that being passed, state, federal, anything. A lot of these instances, even with training, and when we go to funding, a lot of these instances, it look like a lot of cops get shaken up by whatever situation they're in. Look how many cops it was out there. Like Mark said, no one even tried to stop them to go for the door. How many people around are looking around like they don't even know what to do? You know, why are they so heightened in these situations when they're trained to be alert? You know, you have training, you have your non-lethal training, you have all of these trainings. So why do they bypass all of this training and all of these situations? Whether it's kicking in the door, serving a warrant, whether it's this incident, they may have wanted them just to be a witness of what he was trying to stop, and it ends up being a shooting. So it's a lot more than just face value. But I think it's got to be a lot more training, a lot more just positivity, man. You gotta put it out in the world, though, man. Like
I dig.
And just like you said, you don't want to jump to say it's like a hate crime, but why do my skin make you that nervous to where you're forgetting everything? So when if you come and ask for my license or registration, your hand have to be on your gun, not on your taser. It's going, like you said, directly to that Glock, even if I'm sitting in my car. So
I dig it, bro. I dig it, man. Well, I appreciate you popping in, man, for a second. I'm about to go and end it up, the live.
Absolutely. Me also, man. I just wanted to stay until it was over. All right, Rue.
All right, I appreciate that, Rue, man. 07's in the house, man. All right, man. So I thank y'all so much. Yeah, did you see? So all the video that I have, Miss Berry, is just where he is walking to the vehicle. Now let me play that for you real quick. Let me go and play it real quick. This is what was recorded. So give me just 1 second. So hang on a second. Let me get it. Planet. Here we go. Yeah, man. Oops. Me. Hold on a second. Wrong video. Here we go. Here we go. Let's fast forward a little bit.
Wow.
So hold on, let's back it up.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Is that how police are supposed to hold the guns when they shoot it? Is that how police are supposed to hold their guns? He was holding a gangster gun, man, wasn't he? Anyway, so yeah, thanks so much, y'all, for popping in, man. I appreciate it, man. Please share this video to Facebook. You could like it or not like it. You know, yeah, share it. You know, go ahead and share this video, please. And justice for Breonna Taylor, man. How come there's been nobody charged in the death of this black woman who is a public servant that was murdered in her own home? That's the question I got to get answered. All right, y'all. Y'all be easy. Thanks a lot, Ms. Bear.